them to be able to get their driver's license. A lot of the barriers that exist for them are old fines and fees that go way, way back. And so we work with the city of Birmingham, we work with Jefferson County. We've got a lot of our municipal judges out too to help resolve these things so that we can get them on their way to get their IDs. The state troopers will be there to give them their IDs. For those of you who don't know our program before, we are a 501c3. We're a nonprofit that provides free civil and domestic legal services in the Birmingham area and Jefferson County. To qualify for our services, you have to be within 125% of the poverty level, which is about $30,000 for a family of four. So for a lot of our clients, it would take anywhere from 6 months to a year to save up in order to even afford an hour with an attorney. So our volunteers are wonderful for donating their time. It's a service that people really need. We have people facing financial crisis, housing crisis, domestic violence, and the only way they can really get help is through an attorney. So we're there. We have help desk every day of the week. We kind of treat those as, or not every day of the week, almost every day of the week. We treat those as basically urgent care clinics. No appointments. Come in, sit down with an attorney, figure out how we can get them help, get them started on their problem. Sometimes it's a phone call. Sometimes it's going to court with them that day. We see a ton of good stories come out of our program. Just yesterday, we had a attorney contacted me. He's been with a client for about a half year now. Just emailed me. He got an $18,000 debt discharge for a client because it was a third-party debt that the person had no proof of, but had been garnishing his paycheck for I don't know how long, and we were able to get the $18,000 down to zero. So it's things like that where the guy didn't actually owe the money, and the bank was saying he did, and got that dismissed. But without a lawyer, he'd still be having $200 each month taken out his paycheck. This next Saturday is when we got Project Homeless Connect. Lisa's going to speak more about that. Lisa, who I know you've all heard from, is one of our staff attorneys. She is running the show this year. So Lisa, you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, thank you all for volunteering. I know a lot of you have done this before, but I appreciate you coming because we're going to have some different procedures in place this year. We are excited about the event. Hope the weather won't be like this, but whatever it will be great. Anyone who's been there knows it's a really inspiring day to see so many people getting help. One of the things that makes this different for our program is a lot of what we're doing that day involves criminal law, and we don't generally do criminal law at Volunteer Lawyers Birmingham. The exception is our homeless program, where we do try to help homeless and recently housed clients who have old fines and fees that are holding them back. We try to keep them, get them clear so that they can get their license back, get a job, and get a stable place to live. And our homeless legal program and Turning Point Court came out of Project Homeless Connect. It was such a great thing that we're like, why are we only doing this once a year? So once a month, we have our homeless legal help desk, and we screen, among other things, we screen clients there for Turning Point Court, which is like a mini legal area, but just for the city of Birmingham Municipal Court. So on Saturday the 29th, come and be comfortable. Before you leave today, we're going to give you your volunteer t-shirt. Wear that t-shirt, wear some comfy jeans with pockets, because you don't bring any bags in with you, no purses, no tote bags, no backpacks, because there's nowhere safe to put it, and everyone's moving around, and it's just bad to try to keep up with that stuff. Eat breakfast before you come. I know it's early if you're coming for that early shift, but we're not really going to be able to provide breakfast. We're hoping to have coffee, and I understand there's usually snacks. And then at around noon or 12:30, they'll bring lunch to our area. In the past, parking has been free at the Boutwell, but we're having a little issue with the Birmingham Parking Authority. If you know anybody on their board, see if you can step in. For some reason, they're saying that they have to charge their $10 a day event parking. So we're hoping to get that resolved, but it's as of right now, it has not been. So when you get there, this is a draft map of the Boutwell for the day. And when we get there, we're going to enter sort of in the alleyway between the parking deck and Boutwell. So we're going to kind of come in through a door over here, and then we're going to either right outside the external door or right inside, depending on the weather. We're going to have a table to check in legal volunteers, both the attorneys and the students that will be helping us. And don't let anybody tell you that you need to go to the other side where the volunteers are supposed to go, because that they're talking about the smiling face guides that every client will come through the event with. Legal volunteers need to go in there just where I showed you. And they're going to give you a red wristband. Everyone in the event has to have some color wristband, and red is for the service provider, so that's what we'll be wearing. So our goal in the legal area is to help the clients who come through with whatever their issues are as efficiently as we can, because they're there for more than just our services. We want to make sure we can get them through and accomplish what they need, but also get them through as quickly as we can so that they can get to the other areas, to the medical, the dental, housing services, different things that they may need. So we're going to try to minimize their wait time. We may send them out and bring them back if they're trying to see judges for a specific court and they're not ready, or if there's a long wait for that court. So we're going to be a little flexible with how we move people through, just to make sure we're not wasting their time in that legal area. Next slide. So this is sort of a fun flow chart that we put together to show how we're going to try to move people through. So before they can get to the legal area, they're going to have to come through the one roof screening, and that's generally the huge line that you see outside. Some folks will have been pre-registered, so they'll get to move to a much shorter line, but there'll still be a line. And once they get past the one roof screening, they can come to the VLE screening. We also have pre-registered some folks, but really probably only about 10 to 15% of what we'll see on the day. We really don't know who's going to show up, and that's part of the challenge. I guess that makes it a little bit more fun. It's not predictable at all. So when the people are waiting in line for the screening table, we're going to have students with clipboards with this form that you all picked up outside. That's our written intake form that we're going to have students fill out the demographic information with the client. I'm going to be auditioning them for their handwriting, because we have to enter these all later into our system, and I wouldn't want to do that from my handwriting, so we're just going to have to do our best to get it written out well. So by the time you get it a client, all that top area will be completed, and we're going to ask the students to get just a very brief description of what the client wants done. It's the attorneys that are going to interview the client and get more details about what they need, so that they can be directed appropriately to the different services. The people will get their intake done after signing in. Graham and I are going to review these forms real quickly to see if they should just go to the next person, the next attorney waiting for someone, or if they might have a little bit of a different issue that we might direct to a different attorney. We're going to try our best to try to make sure people are going to where they can get the best help. We're going to need everybody to be flexible with that too. We might start you out in one place, and then if that place isn't busy and there's another place that's busier, we'll move you. So we appreciate everyone being flexible, because the whole goal is to get these folks through, get the job done, and let them go on. I neglected to mention, when they come in, they're going to have a person with them that is a volunteer, a non-legal volunteer, called a smiling face guide. And basically everywhere they go that day in Boutwell, they have to have that person with them. There should never be a homeless client walking through by themselves. The exception is, once they enter legal and we've taken their form, we're going to ask their smiling face guide to go sit up in the bleachers near where the legal area is, because if anyone who's been there knows it's crowded in there, and we don't need those extra bodies in the way. So, they'll probably be sitting up there playing on their phones till we're done with their client, and then we will call them back down to escort the client out. We're not just going to send the client to find them. We're going to make sure we're matching them up, and we'll have probably student volunteers doing that for us as well. So the attorneys will sit at a table with the client and interview them and try to get the best information they can from the client about what they hope to accomplish that day. And it's okay, it's good if you can make notes about things, other things they may need handled that can't be done that day, that we may be able to help them follow up with later. Legibility is an issue because we are doing these forms and someone's going to have to type in these notes. And I'm so guilty of writing quickly and legibly. So, and I know we're trying to get people through fast, but we just appreciate if people can slow down and try to make it so that another person who might not be familiar with your handwriting will be able to understand the information. So, if your client that you're sitting with and you interviewed believes they have old fines and fees, open cases, possibly warrants, different things that need to be addressed, we're going to send you to the out-of-court table where someone will look up and try to get their case numbers and get all that recorded. The municipal court's information is not on out-of-court, so we just have to sort of hope that they know where their issues are if they're municipal and direct them accordingly. But and for the Jefferson County clients, we're going to do a preliminary search in out-of-court, but we're going to let the public defenders, who are really good at that, make sure that they've got that right, so that when that case gets to Judge Wallace or Judge Carpenter, they won't have to mess around with that kind of stuff. It'll be ready for them to see and figure out whether they can, reset the case or whether it might be small enough to just quickly dispose of. So once you've determined that your client needs to go to one of the courts, we've sort of set up this, it's not a hierarchy, it's just a way we've tried to do it to try to make it as efficient as possible. If your client has an open Birmingham Municipal Court issue, we're going to try that line first. So you'll take it over to whoever the staffers are who are over by those courts, and they will take a look and see about getting the client on the list. If the list for that court is long and there's another court that needs to be visited that's shorter, we might ask you to take them over there. But at that point, we may then just hand that file off to different volunteer attorneys who are going to go with the clients before the judges. And then at that point, if you're the interviewing attorney, you'll probably go back to get paired with a new client.